We're sat here today because it's Forfusion's 10th anniversary. We started life in a broom cupboard, believe it or not, and now I'm pleased to report that we're a multi-million-pound organisation. We employ 40 colleagues and we're delivering services to customers right across the globe. I have had a varied career. After college I went to uni, didn't really have an idea what I wanted to do after uni, so in my infinite wisdom, I decided to join the army. Fortunately, I was pretty good at sport. I was a good judo player and I was a good boxer, so I managed to box for the regiment and run for the regiment. And what was perhaps more interesting is something I didn't plan to do, is spend my days searching for dead bodies and weapons. And I also used to design blast walls to absorb rocket energy. The army wasn't for me long term, unfortunately. I wanted to get into the world of tech. Hence, I left the army and joined a large systems integrator to, I guess, follow my trade as a consultant, working specifically with technology. Throughout that time, I worked with some of the big systems integrators, learned an awful lot about the industry, learned about what to do, perhaps more importantly, what not to do. And that led to me and the other co-founders launching the business Forfusion. Individually, myself and the other co-founders were looking for a route into launching our own business. And it was an idea that, let's focus on doing what others aren't doing very well, and that's delivering service to customers. It was a case of us learning the lessons that these guys were losing customers because they weren't able to do the simple stuff. They weren't able to do the easy things and deliver a good service. They were intent on chasing new business, onboarding new accounts, and that was to the detriment of the customers that they should be servicing. It wasn't just a case of letting customers down, letting suppliers down. It impacted on morale and team spirit, and unfortunately, had a detrimental impact on employees. We've discussed this at length since kind of the inception of the business, that we could have grown more aggressively, more quickly. We could have onboarded more customers, and in actual fact, we could have generated more revenue, more profit. But I'm absolutely 100% positive that would have been to the detriment of the longevity of the business, the morale and the stability that we're introducing the business by doing things properly. We started business in a very, very small office in Battersea, now referred to as the broom cupboard. At the time, being from up north, working class, didn't have wealthy families. There was no capital. There was no capital injection. There was no VC interest at all, and we literally didn't have two pennies to rub together, apart from the money that we were bringing in through the door via white labelling services, which was, to be honest, a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, because we were lining the pockets of the giants, delivering some fantastic, very creative services, designing systems that would span the globe, and we weren't really getting any recognition for it. So it took a lot of time, effort and heartache to get to the point where we could flick the switch and start delivering into our end customers, and I suppose receiving the credit we deserve. A lot of organisations that we are now delivering into, they only really trusted the big blue chips, the big systems integrators. But time changed in 2008. It sent ripples right across the globe. For us, however, it was almost a breath of fresh air. It was an opportunity for those guys to take a look at the integrators that were delivering services for them, look at those relationships, and I think it caused them to question the validity in using these big, dinosaur-like systems integrators. Using agility and flexibility as weapons, it gave us an opportunity to do a better job than a lot of these larger systems integrators. I think the proudest moment is bringing young guys and girls up through an apprenticeship scheme, developing bespoke, in-house, fast-track programs for engineers and consultants, and ultimately giving something back to the economy in the Northeast. First and foremost, the work and services we deliver in the city, being up north hasn't hindered us at all. In fact, it's probably made a huge difference in terms of the service that we deliver for customers. One, it's, employing people in the Northeast is, it's cheaper for us to do that. But not only that, I mean, we have a raft of unified communications tools at our disposal. So geographical location is not that important. In terms of how do we continue exercising and executing against the vision that we set many, many years ago, and believe it or not, it's a topic of conversation every quarterly meeting that the directors have. What we don't want to do is lose sight of that vision, become complacent and become another one of those systems integrators. And I think we can achieve that by not being greedy, not being complacent, and being very choosy about the customers we work with, and make a concerted effort to over-deliver for the customers we have, and try our very best not to onboard too many customers. Okay, how do we maintain that flexible and agile approach as we scale, as we get bigger, and I suppose more well-known? It's always top of mind. I mean, the approach that we've taken, that's what's built the business. That's what's paying the wages every single month. That's what has allowed us to accelerate at such a rate and now employ 40 people. I think it's very important that we don't get complacent, and that is certainly a vision and a view shared by the directors and I'd like to think the rest of the team as well. We need to continue to be choosy in terms of the customers that we work with. We're a financially stable organisation. The last thing we want to do is chase customers that we cannot add value to and that we don't want to work with. We work with customers, we form alliances and partnerships. Yeah, I mean, in terms of not being a sales-led organisation, whilst we do sales, the vast majority of, in fact, all of the customers that we currently work with and we service daily, we work with those guys on strategy. So it's not been a case of shifting tin or just working with the customer for the sake of it, just to add a customer to our portfolio, for example. It's been working with a customer where we've been able to identify pain, a customer where we believe we could add real value. Hiring military for any organisation, look at some of the attributes that military personnel bring to any business. I mean, one is discipline, punctuality. It's I guess to an extent the work ethic. It's anybody that serves for the RAF, the Navy or the Army, they go through some incredible training and it serves them very well for civilian life. One of the things that Forfusion does really well, I feel, is we offer civilian work attachment for ex-military personnel, which for the right individual can lead to full-time work. I think advice to myself 10 years ago would be don't listen to the doubters. I think one thing that I've struggled with for the last 10 years is to be patient and tolerant with others. That's something I've probably learned from my colleagues and business partners over the last 10 years. And one other thing is just, if you believe in something, set a target and go for it. The advice I tend to give to any young business, any entrepreneur that's trying to make it, is I guess I make reference to boxing, and I guess I make reference to boxing in that it's always 0-0. It's never over until it's over. So many years ago, when I was young and fit, much like I am now, I was getting beaten quite badly in the first round. I had a broken nose. I was kind of crying inside and outside. There was blood everywhere. I felt rather deflated. I felt beaten up, quite depressed, quite low. And I sat down on my stool at the end of the first round, feeling a little bit sorry for myself. I felt like throwing the towel in, to be honest. And a good sponge down off my trainer told me it's not over until it's over. It's only 0-0. Yeah, it flicked a switch. I went out in the second round and knocked the guy out within 30 seconds. So the way I like to look at things, it's never over until it's over. It's always 0-0. And that's the approach we take with our customers as well. You haven't ever won a customer. You're always striving to keep that customer and to win that deal. In terms of where Forfusion will be in the next 5 or 6 years, I very much like to think that we'll continue to grow. We'll continue to adapt with market change. We will absolutely continue to invest in our organisation and the employees that turn up on a daily basis and do a great job for us. And hopefully we'll continue to compete with the good systems integrators out there. There have been many, many lessons, many, many challenges. I guess what we did learn from dealing with organisations that we shouldn't have trusted in the first place is that business is brutal. Don't trust anybody until they deserve to be trusted. Probably the most enjoyable thing is the challenge. It's exhilarating and terrifying in equal measure. So it's each and every day facing a new challenge and taking people on a journey with me.